Hello there, creative soul. Well, it's doing it again. Making headlines again is one of the most thought-provoking public art murals, and it's by Barbara Kruger. I am so excited because it is one of my favorites. It is monumental and it is stretched on the north face of the Museum of Contemporary Art in LA. It has returned to public focus because demonstrators are fiercely protesting ICE policies in the streets. This mural is bold and asks urgent questions that have engaged us again. In previous episodes of Female Frequency Podcast, we've talked about how the earth and art, when they sync, it creates this undeniable vibe. And it's like civic dialogue and existential questioning. And this mural is a perfect example of that frequency in action. So let me tell you a little bit about Barbara Kruger. She is one of our most influential conceptual artists in America. She's been working over 5 decades interrogating systems of power through her unmistakable mix of declarative text and arresting imagery. It's really similar to that of an anthem. So, this particular mural has challenged and provoked viewers for more than 30 years. That's why I'm so excited. And it continually asks us to engage, question, and respond. Kruger also has taught some of the most influential contemporary artists you see today. She's taught at UC Berkeley, UCLA, in Chicago as well. But if we go back in history, she was a senior graphic designer at Condé Nast at age 22. She went on to work at Mademoiselle's magazine. She broke out on the New York art scene in the 80s alongside Jenny Holzer and Cindy Sherman. Her work is not decorative. Nope. It is designed to disrupt, to provoke, and to interfere with complacency. Today, a lot of her pieces are inside institutions like MoMA in New York, the Tate in London, but arguably her most famous works are the ones that are installed in the public realm. So, like billboards and shelters and walls and buildings where they confront anyone, anytime. Kruger's unmistakable visual, like black or white text with red, also landed her in the peripheral of a legal case in 2013 that brand Supreme blatantly borrowed from Kruger's design language. Yeah. And then they sued another women's fashion brand, Married to the Mob, for using Supreme Bitch. And if any of you are watching that comedy called Hacks on HBO Cinemax, I think it is, season 3, you'll see a big Supreme billboard. But the irony here is you can't ignore it. I mean, a company that built the entire identity off of visual language like Kruger's and not crediting her was now accusing of someone else from stealing from them. So then Kruger went on to give a public announcement. Let me read it. A ridiculous clusterfuck of totally uncool jokers. I make my work about this kind of sadly foolish farce. I'm waiting for all of them to sue me for copyright infringement. I love it. In the end, the case was settled out of court, but the absurdity of the situation, the capitalism eating its own tail, just felt like Kruger's artwork had come to life, right? At the core of her practice, she flips familiar phrases that can expose the dangerous parts of modern life. Like one of her most famous ones, and its brutal clarity, was I shop, therefore I am. And this was from Rene Descartes in 1600s, I think, therefore I am. So, like, arguing the act of thinking was proof of existence itself. That's why I say sometimes I feel, therefore I am. Um, and you can make up your own too. But let's see, Kruger turned that certainty upside down. In our consumer driven culture, She is suggesting existence isn't about thought anymore, it's about consumption. So I shop, therefore I am reveals how our worth is tied to the buying and the spending and the owning, not reflecting and the questioning. So it's a critique that really hits hard today. Um, and that same critique we can bring into the mural throughout the decades when it's been in the headlines because it's secured in art history and in public memory. So the work was first installed in 1990 during the tense backdrop of the Gulf War, rising unrest. Think about the Bush administration. And she was asking questions about the law, choice, faith, and freedom. Then in 1992, protests erupted again following the acquittal of the police officers of the Rodney King trials. And the mural was pictured in the riot footage there too. I mean, come on, asking these questions. Then in 2018, the mural was reinstalled on MOCA's north face wall. And I got to tell you how big it is. It's 30 by 191 feet, turning the museum into a giant billboard that cannot be ignored. I mean, the questions still remain very sharp and unchanged. Let's do them. Who is beyond the law? Who is free to choose? Who speaks? Who is silent? Who salutes longest? Who prays loudest? Who laughs last? Who is bought and sold? I mean, these words just don't fade. I mean, the nation is wrestling with injustice and protest and the meaning of freedom. So when the ICE protesters back in LA, these questions were the backdrop again. Like there was the mural again, reminding us about power, control, freedom. These questions are not settled. Kruger's work doesn't soothe. It confronts. It refuses to let people go by quietly. Um, the mural was even the backdrop again over some midterm elections before the 2020. Again, I just want to say thank you again to the museum and to Barbara Kruger because Kruger is demands that we examine things. As Kruger herself said to the relevance of the mural, it's tragic and sad that there are still resonance on these issues. So here's the 9 questions again. Who is beyond the law? Who is free to choose? Who speaks? Who salutes longest? Who prays loudest? Who dies first? Who laughs last? Who is bought and sold? I think this is a great time to pick which one resonates most with you and do a creative exercise. You can do a drawing, you can do a photo, you can make a protest sign, you can make a short poem, you can do it in a single word. But how does one of those questions resonate with you?